guys, how are you guys? Hope you guys are fine. I'm sure you guys are doing amazingly well. I'm really happy again. I'm here again for you guys. I'm here for you. So let's get down to what we have for you today. In our previous videos, we were talking about setting up a music studio. We talked a lot about a lot of things, but I don't want to start talking about all those things again. You can just go to my YouTube channel and check the series of videos we started from setting up a music studio. So from there, you're going to see all what we've talked about. So we are going straight into what we have for you today. In the last video, we talked about the equipment you need for a music production studio or a beat production studio. Now we are going into the equipment or the gears you're going to be needing for a podcast studio. So research has been shown, according to Apple, that for the past 4 years there has been over 550 active podcasts on their platforms, and the active listeners are continuing to rapidly increase. They are increasing, and people listen to audio more than videos because you can be doing a lot of things and still be listening to audio. So audio is a very vital part. So podcast studio basically focuses on audio. It could be for streaming purpose, it could be for recording purpose, it could be a personal podcast studio where you can even be doing your voiceovers. It varies. Nowadays we just do things according to the way we feel. But I'm trying to say that it can also serve as a podcast studio, and it can also serve as a voiceover studio. Most people will use it to record voiceovers or to train themselves in voiceover. So it's very important that your audio quality is very, very, very good. You cannot sabotage your audio level, your audio fidelity. So what is this studio all about? It's just about recording voice, having 2, 3, depending on what you want to do. I can't really say this is how many microphones you can use. This is total amount of, but this is the total amount of speakers you can use. But what I want to say is that what you want to do will determine how big or how small your podcast studio is going to be. And one thing I always say a lot of times is that you can get away with a bad video, you can get away with a bad lighting, but you cannot get away. You can never, ever get away with a bad audio. Never. You can be at a concert and you're enjoying the song and the sound is banging, like banging, bang, bang, dang. So it can be banging and the light goes off, pew. The camera goes off, pew. Everything goes off. As long as the audio is still on, the sound is still on, nobody will really care. They might be like, what happened? But most of them will still continue vibing the song. You can't say, but the moment the light is still on, everything is on, the audio just tweaks, a small mistake, people will know. And if the audio goes off, people will become very restless. So what am I trying to say? All these things, that sound and audio are very, very important. In fact, it's importanter. You get it? A lot of producers that are out there. Sometimes when they do their voiceovers, announcements in churches, announcement profiles. Some of them that do announcements in churches profiles. By the time I listen to some of them, I've worked with a lot of churches here, and when I listen to some of them, I feel like, was this actually recorded in a studio? And you see, a lot of churches are coming up with studios, and I always tell my clients, my church clients, that don't set up a studio first. First of all, train somebody. Don't just set it up because you feel you need it. The fact that you need it doesn't mean that you can manage it. You get my point? Okay, the fact that you need it and you have the available resources and the money doesn't mean that you can manage it. Managing a studio is more important than setting up a studio. I will tell them, you want to do a voiceover announcement, get a studio, have a contract with them. Like, okay, every month I'll be paying a certain amount of money. You'll be doing voiceovers for us, you'll be doing stuffs for us. So you can have an agreement with them rather than setting up your own studio. And at the end of the day, you might even have losses, damages and stuff, poor production still. So when you go to professional, he will do it well for you. And you can now tell the professional that, okay, please let me teach this guy. Pay for it. For you to get value, you have to pay for value. Don't try to look for ways to get value by paying less. There's no how you want to solve a big problem with a small solution. To solve a big problem, you have to use a big solution to solve it. You get my point? You can't see an 100 million naira problem and you want to use 1,000 naira to solve it. Like, it doesn't work. You get my point? I'm not trying to throw stones at anybody, but I'm just trying to make you guys see the reality in all these things we're talking about. So setting up a podcast studio is not just trying to just, pick this, pick that, but it's very important that we do the right thing. So let's go straight into the equipment that you will find in a podcast studio. The first we're going to talk about is microphones. Now, we'll be talking about two types of microphones: analog microphone and digital microphones. Analog microphones are your XLR, your lavalier mic. Now, under your XLR mic, you have condensers, you have dynamic. The type of dynamic that I always recommend is the Shure SM7B, the Neo PR40, the Rode Procaster. Now, there are condenser versions. We have the Rode NT2A, MXL 970. There are a lot of products out there. There are Sennheisers, there are Audix, a lot of microphones out there that you can check with, and Now we'll talk about digital microphone. That is just basically USB microphones. An example of a USB microphone is the Snowball. I call it digital because you don't need to plug it through any form of converter. It's just direct. And USB is digital. So an example of a USB microphone that can be used for a podcast studio is the Blue Yeti and the Snowball. So enough about microphones. Now let's go into audio interface. I talked about audio interface in the previous video when I talked about the gears you need for a beat production studio or a music production studio. So an audio interface is just a device that helps you to connect your analog signals to digital so that the computer can actually print it out and record it. So basically that is what an audio interface basically does. There are a lot of audio interfaces out there depending on what you want to do. There's M-Audio, Avid, we have Steam Badge, we have Antelope, we have Motu, we have Presonus, we have UAD, Tascam. There are a bunch of them out there, depending on how much you want to spend and how many inputs you are looking towards getting. So that is that about audio interface. So the next one you're going to be seeing there in a podcast studio is a small boom stand. A boom stand is like a microphone stand, but it's a smaller version, a miniature boom stand, but it's a smaller boom stand. So that is just what will hold the microphone to the table. So another thing you're going to be finding there is the pop filter and the windscreen. You see more of pop filter in most studios because it helps to reduce unnecessary noise on the microphone. When we speak at times or when we talk, there might be some throws from the amounts like that will hit the microphone capsule, and some of those things might damage the capsule inside. So it's more as if it helps to prevent the microphone from damage and also reduces sibilances and plosive. Sibilances means S words. When you do plosive means all these P's and B's when you want to pronounce. Sibilances, I don't really have sibilance because I have more of a deeper voice. So most people that have deeper voice don't have sibilance, but people that have lighter voice tend to have a lot of sibilance. When I talk about windscreen, you see them more on dynamic microphone. You see more pop filter on a condenser microphone. But a windscreen you'll be seeing more on the dynamic microphone because it helps to reduce wind and also moist. Maybe a fan that is blowing, or it's not as if it's going to totally remove it, but at least it will reduce it to a point. That's why you see all these lapel mics, they come with all these windscreens. So if you are going for a dynamic microphone, you go for a windscreen. If you are going for a condenser microphone, you go for a pop filter. Now, another thing you're going to see in a podcast studio is what we call shock mounts. Now, this shock mount is a kind of crafted metal or plastic, most times always metal, that helps to separate the microphone from the boom stand. It helps to isolate and hold the microphone in a position whereby it is totally detached from the vibration of its surroundings. So you just put it in a different context. When we are building a studio, that you're going to create a room in a room, separating the room from the wall itself. If you don't know what I mean, you can go and watch my video on soundproofing and acoustics. You're going to get everything where I'm talking about right now there. Then a good pair of headphones. You really need a good pair of headphones to monitor. It could be hi-fi, it could be reference. It's very important that you always use a reference headphone. Now, the next thing you're going to find is a DAW, a recording software. Now, a DAW means D-A-W, it means digital audio workstation. That is what it means. So you need it to record your voiceovers, your montage, whatever you want to do. Now, before I go on, you might need a small analog console. Now, it depends on your setup. If you are having 2, 3, 4 people at the same time, you need a small 8-channel mixer at least. If it's just you just need an audio interface. But when you start ranging from 2 people I suggest you get audio interface and a small analog console, at least 8 channels. You might not use up to that, but at least you need the auxiliaries on those channels to be able to send different headphone mixes to both of you. You get what I'm saying? So it's very important that you know what you want to do, you design what you want to do, and you put all these things in place to know what will suit. So you need to ask yourself some questions before you decide on how you want to run or design the things you need, or to design the studio you need, or the equipment or gears you will be needing. Now, there's also one thing I want to talk about before I end this particular one on podcast studio. Now, there's a device called the Rodecaster. You can go online, you go to the YouTube and go and search for the Rodecaster. You can go online and go and search for the Rodecaster. It's an amazing device. Everything we are talking about here, they've put everything in one single box. Just one single device that you can just carry from here to there. All you just need is just a microphone. That is all you basically need. Everything we are talking about from the beginning of this topic till now is in that particular device. And that is the Rodecaster. So guys, that is all we have for you on gears or equipment you need for a podcast studio. So thank you very much for taking time to watch this video, and I'm sure you're never gonna regret it. I know some of these things might look a little bit clumsy to you, but you know, that is the reason why my contacts are always there. You can always get more information from me, better understanding. But I'm trying to put all these things out so that you have basic knowledge. If we start to go deep into these things, it's going to be a very long video, and I don't want to take the whole of your time, because I know you guys are very busy people. I don't want to take too much of your time, just little of your time, just to give you little information that is going to do you a lot of good. It's going to open your mind, open your thinking, your creativity. So that is what this is all about. So thank you very much. Please, we'd love you to follow us on Instagram at Adesina Ayotunde. You can also follow us at AM Studio Nigeria. On YouTube is Ayotunde Adesina. On Facebook is Ayotunde Adesina. You can also chat me on WhatsApp on 070-679-42997. I long to hear from you guys. You can also drop your comments in the comment box below. You know, you can make requests. We'll talk about something. So this year is going to be for you guys. I love you guys. One love.